What's up, everybody? y'all already, y'all probably know me. My name is Latrell. I can't. Well, my name is Latrell. I better go by Trail So Wavy. If y'all know my YouTube, And I really just wanted to start by sharing a little bit of my testimony and where I come from and how I grew up and stuff like that. I grew up here in Tallahassee, and most of my childhood, I was pretty good. I was a pretty good kid. My mom, my parents, they kept me in church. I went to church every Sunday, and most of the reason was because I really didn't have anything bad to do though. I played sports every day of the year. So, but shout out to my parents for that. You know what I'm saying? And that was where I grew up, and I got baptized at a young age, when I was 7 or 8. And I say all these things to say that just because I went to church, just because I got baptized at a young age, it really didn't mean anything. It didn't save me. It was just good things that I did, but that didn't lead to my salvation. And then I grew up, as I became a teenager and things like that, I started to get into a lot of things that, separated me from Christ. I started to, drink. I started to get into alcohol. I started smoking. I even started going to clubs and things at the age of 17, and it really had took a toll on me as a kid because I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? And I started to fornicate, if y'all know what that means, doing things that I wasn't supposed to do at a very young age. And then, meanwhile, me doing all these things, on my YouTube channel, if y'all know, I also did content where I was on the Monkey app, and as I was on the Monkey app, I was doing very disgusting things, crazy things that if y'all used to watch my YouTube back then, y'all probably seen, but I'm not proud of it at all. And it led me away from Christ as well. And then another thing, I want to tell y'all a story about one time I was at a family trip. My whole family, we go on a family trip every year. And then, mind you, we were all down in the living area or whatever, and I was down there. I was 20 years old, so I wasn't even supposed to be drinking or whatnot. But I had a bottle literally turned up, you know what I'm saying, just drinking alcohol. And then my little cousin Aiden, he was like, "Wes, what are you doing?" And I was it took a big toll on me to see that he watches me, and he pays attention to what I'm doing. And if I know that he watches me, imagine everybody else that could be watching me also, and I should be a great example to the people around me. And the main reason that I was doing all these things was because I thought just because of my age and things like that, that I could, have fun, As young people, we think we can just wild out, have fun, and just do anything that we want to do. But I'm here to tell you today, that ain't the right thing to do, you know what I'm saying? Age ain't nothing but a number. And I'm saying that to say, I ain't talking about if you a dude and you go to the mall and you try to hit at a girl, nah, this is different. Age ain't nothing but a number. This talking about just because we may be young, it doesn't mean that we can be that we can't be set apart for God and who He wants us to be, And bro, you get my ball. I'm gonna be reading from 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12 today. And that's where the message gonna come from. It says, "Don't let anyone think less of you because you are young. Be an example to all believers in what you say, in the way you live, in your love, your faith, and your purity." All right, and I'm gonna be speaking on some key points. And the first key point is being young does not mean we can't live for Jesus. Regardless of our age, of our height, how we look, how we talk, or anything, we can still live our lives in a way that honors God to be an example for those around us. No matter what people may say about us, being young, we are still created by God for a purpose. So we can't let people's low expectations keep us from living a life of holiness. And being holy is just being set apart and being separate for the use of God, Meaning that as Christians, we should live at a higher standard than everybody else in the world. You know, we can set the bar for everything, and we have to take into consideration in the way we speak, in the way we act, and the way we treat others, and also the things that we do in private that we think others don't see. But I want to let you know that God sees everything. Like, no matter what you do in your private time, when you with people, God sees it all. And nothing that you do is gonna go like dismissed by God. So we should set the standard as young believers for all to see. And the second point I want to talk about today is getting to like the juicy part. We should prioritize God's kingdom over worldly culture. We must create our own culture around godly principles and not be influenced by the world. And I know how easy it is to want to do what others are doing and to fit in with the crowd. You can use me for example. Like I told you, I was young. I looked at everybody else around me and I was like, you know, I should do what they're doing. I should be who they want me to be and things like that. And like I said, it led to me just doing all the wrong things, like smoking, drinking, all of that, man. But we must be disciplined enough to go the opposite way and follow God. In a world full of people going left, we should go right, you know, and we should follow Christ. If we follow the ways of this world, we may think that we are doing what is right, but it brings nothing but destruction. And that is what Satan wants us to do, because he knows if he can destroy us at a young age, then he can ultimately get us from reaching our God-given destiny. It's like, all right, for instance, you see this tree, right? And so this tree has to grow up and be what it needs to be. But if you was to destroy this tree, like what stage would you destroy this tree at? In its seed form, you know, at its smallest form. And that's what the enemy wants to do to us. Like, as we're growing up, as we're, you know, turning like, 12, 13, 14 years old, we see things that we're not supposed to see. We hear stuff we're not supposed to hear. And that's because the enemy, he literally wants to destroy us at a very young age, because he knows if he gets us at a young age when we're vulnerable, then we will never be who God is calling us to be. And if we look at Jeremiah 1:5, it says, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart." Notice it didn't say, "I made you like the world." So if God made us and said that even before he formed us, he knew us, then how come in Matthew 7:23 it would say, Jesus says, "But I will reply, I never knew you. Get away from me, you who break God's law." This means that as we've lived our life and things like that, that we've strayed so far away from who God wanted us to be, that Jesus don't even know us no more. So you see, if he says that he knew us before he formed us, and all throughout our life, we get to that day of judgment, and it's like, "Get away from me, I never knew you." That means that we've drifted so far away from who God wanted us to be, that he don't know us no more. And no one wants to be like that, you know what I'm saying? Nobody. And then I can do like a little example, if you want to help me. I can show y'all like what it looks like to listen to like the world and not be focused on God, and how far to drift you away from who you need to be. All right. We're gonna see if he can walk this straight line with the culture and the world telling him where he need to go. All right, so I can go.
Turn around. Turn. Wait, go back the other way. Turn.
Right there. No,
turn.
Right. Go straight. Walk.
Go left.
No.
Wait, come back this way.
Walk straight. How you walking now? Keep walking.
Wait.
Keep walking. Just walk
Go left.
No.
Come right. No, come right. To the right. Come on. Wait. Come back. No, wait, the other way. The other way. Go for the bag. Taylor, go back. Go the other way. Come the other way. Turn around. Talk completely around.
No.
Now go more to your
Look.
You take it off now. You see where you ended up at? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's how it is when we listen to the wrong voices. Like, she was a great example of like the wrong voices. Telling him to go the wrong way when we supposed to be walking in a straight line. But he walking with the blindfold on. But if he was to just, allow God to take that veil off his eyes and come into the light, he could literally walk the straight line, like, with no problem, And that's how it is with us in culture when we listen to the outside voices and everything like that. And going back to 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, we know that people will try to look down on us and expect us to use our age as a crutch to live impure and unholy lives. And I had a friend, like, it was like a couple months ago, right? We were in the car and we were riding like to the mall or something like that. And as we were riding, he got a phone call from a friend. And as he got this phone call, they chopped it up or whatever. And then his friend was telling him about like a party that he was gonna be having. And he was like, hey, I want you to come to this party, we're gonna be doing this, we're gonna be doing that. And basically, my friend, he was like, nah, I don't wanna do that, bro, because I don't wanna go back to my old ways and stuff like that, because he's a man of God now. And basically, the dude told him, like, bro, you too young to be living for God. You too young to give your life to Jesus like that. You should just have fun, and stuff like that. And that is what the world is gonna tell us to do. When we don't have to do that, like, there's no telling where he would have went back to if he would have just listened to that voice in his ear telling him, come to this party, come drink, come do this. Because that's what the enemy wants us to do. He wants us to listen to those voices so he can destroy our destiny. And then this is my last point right here. It's a big point. Y'all can repeat it after me. Say, no matter my age, God can use me. Meaning that God is much bigger than our age. We may feel unqualified for what God wants to use us for, but wherever God guides, he provides. I felt ill-equipped to be up here also, but I just had to put my faith that God will use me and he will help me along the way. Like today, I've been thinking about this all week. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I've been very nervous and I didn't know how I was gonna do it. But as y'all see right now, God is just using me to get to the youth and to share my story and stuff like that. And then even this is a very important part right here. If y'all don't listen to anything else, listen to this. Even looking at the 12 disciples that were walking with Jesus, many theologians believe that at least 10 to 11 of the disciples were actually in their teenage years. And if we go to Matthew chapter 17, Matthew chapter 17, verse 27, it talks about Jesus is telling Peter about paying the temple tax and like how to pay the temple tax and stuff like that. And he tells Peter right here, however, we don't want to offend them. So go down to the lake and throw in a line. Open the mouth of the first fish you catch, and you will find a large silver coin. Take it and pay the tax for both of us. And the temple tax, it was in Jewish law that men at least 20 years of age and older had to pay temple tax. And Jesus was literally telling him and Peter that they were the only ones that had to pay the temple tax. And if we know that, then we know that the rest of the disciples had to be teenagers. Just like us, you know what I'm saying? Well, just like y'all, because I ain't no teenagers no more. But they had to be teenagers, right? And then if Jesus used them to change the face of the world, why do you think he can't use you to change, the culture around here or whatever? Because we can literally change the culture if we just, lock in and just be who Jesus wants us to be. Even with like fashion, even with like music, like you guys on the road. I be playing my own tired, Christian rap music, The culture, we can change the culture to be godly and not so perverted, and we can make it in a way that Jesus would approve, you know what I'm saying? Even with me, you know what I'm saying? I get flawed all the time, and I do it in a way that God would want me to do it, So and I say all this to say that no matter our age or no matter what others may look at us, no matter how others may look at us because of our age, we can still live our lives according to the Word of God, and we can be an example for others around us to see. Always remember that we must create the culture and not conform to the world around us as followers of Christ. Romans 12:2 tells us that we must not conform to the patterns of this world, but we must be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Meaning that we must let God transform the way we think, and then ultimately it'll transform the way that we act and the way that we live. Because we are the future, and God can use us if we let Him. And I thank you all for coming out today, and God bless all y'all.
Thank you, Quez, for that wonderful message. Yeah.
Lord, I trust you with all of my needs. I know you know them better than me. I know I have a story to tell. I'll say he saw what I couldn't see. Those who can wait on the Lord, like an eagle, they mount up on wings. Lord, don't let me put no fear in man. You the only one.